Starting in the late 17th century, European government was absolute monarchy. The Holy Trinity gave rulers their validity till people grew tired of divine right theory. They started seeking natural laws that govern their society, pushing aside old customs and propriety. A radical new age of ideas and exploration where man is born a blank slate and learns through observation. A theory formed by intellectual John Locke. But hey, step aside, cause we've got another philosopher.
Je m'appelle Jean Rousseau and I came to say that general will of the public should have sovereignty.
Yeah.
Mankind is naturally good but corrupted through existence. Now let's try to get the church and state to social distance.
Back in 1789 in the land of France, way before Napoleon pulled up his pants, there began a revolution with just a solution based on some philosophy, liberty, equality, and fraternity. It started with an oath and a little bit of tennis, so this monarchy could begin to finish. Then there was a raid on Fort Bastille. That's when King Louis should have started to yield. But with the king there was another side of the coin. You best bet it was his wife, Marie Antoinette. She was a queenie, a certified meanie, walking around town making peasants feel teeny. The first estate just pretended to care. That didn't sit right with my man Robespierre. His frustration spread across the nation, filling them peasants with rebellious temptation. Their troubles didn't come from no foreign foes. It started with a series of economic woes. With all the strife the monarchy left in its wake, all the queen said was let them eat cake. That's when they chose to make a plan and write the declarations of the rights of man. Rebels file it like kerosene, chopping off heads with a guillotine. That's what began a reign of terror. Sadly for them, their leader made an error. Because of this, Pierre was redacted. You should have seen how the Midi-Orient reacted.
Revolution was brewing in Latin America. To the Creoles looked to Spain and said, what up, fool? The mestizos were lower on the social ladder, but they still wanted to cause a very large clatter. They were tired of oppression at the hands of Spain, so they buckled down and let them feel the real pain. They were inspired by Haiti and France and decided it was their turn for independence. A man named Simon Bolivar came along, and yes, I can assure you his money was long. He used these bands to fund his plan to liberate Venezuela, Colombia, Peru, and Ecuador. He was a liberal who wanted to show Spain the door. His forces were met with great success, but Latin America still left a mess. They wanted independence and nothing less, and they got it, but they kept on oppressing. For minorities, it was really quite depressing, and the civil rights, they kept suppressing.
Following the end of a 7 years war, England's involvement left them church mouse poor. They taxed American colonists on products like tea, only to watch them dump it in the sea. King George was outraged, but the colonists were engaged, ready to boil and butter any lobsterback brigade. In command of this ragtag of militiamen was General and future President George Washington. Despite the climbing casualties, he never begged for mercy. He crossed a river in winter to battle Hessians in New Jersey. 1776, Continental Congress drafted the Declaration of Independence, pledging life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, till a battle in Yorktown coaxed the Treaty of Paris.
So let's go to a place we ain't been to lately. Caribbean colony by the name of Haiti. In Saint Domingue at the turn of the century, it all began with a revolutionary. Toussaint Louverture is the name in question, making the French go into a recession. He fueled the aggression of the Maroons, tired of working every day, night and afternoon, sick of shucking sugar cane every day. They just wished for this all to go away. They burnt down their buildings and they killed their masters, pushing every Frenchman out to pasture. Then on the 23rd in the month of August, the act of slavery became abolished. From that day forward, it was power they worked toward, so that Haiti stood proud and tall, free South American country, first of them all.
They even had a revolution of industry. This may sound kinda lame, but it really changed the whole game. New tech and manufacturing methods were introduced. By Henry Ford, the assembly line was deduced. Because of this, labor was greatly reduced. My man Eli Whitney created a system of interchangeable parts, and I gotta say it really took a lot of smarts. So many new inventions in this time. Crop rotation and the spinning jenny saved a lot of dimes. While some countries advanced, others got left behind. The global economy started to flourish, and less people were left in the dirt poorish. It changed the way we produce as a society and advanced most all economies. Globalization was at an all-time peak, but China, Japan, and the Ottomans were left real weak. Rural areas were forced to shrink, and the upper class started wearing that mink. We started harvesting steel, oil, iron, and electricity. They even made a phone which changed society. This revolution formed the world as we know, and it made a whole lot of people a whole lot of dough.